Okay, we are on live. Good morning, She's Velvet Steel. Good morning, Reagan.
Good morning.
Oh my gosh, it's been an eventful week. I was just telling Reagan right before live, my dog was missing. And if you open the door, it's any opportunity, he will take it, and run for his life. So anyway, I'm like, you guys better go find your dog. I got to get on.
I wonder
So,
if that says something about your pet ownership skills.
it's my children, they leave those doors open, and then that
That's what my
dog's like,
kids
let
are.
me out of here, let me out, freedom. Oh my
Right?
gosh, that just kind of goes with our week, right? It's been kind of an eventful week
My
for
gosh.
the SBS girls.
Yeah.
We've all
Yeah.
made a little trip to the hospital, other than Gretchen. Gretchen, you stay out of the hospital, okay? You and your kids. Let's just keep them all out of the hospital. Jen said that she came home. Sayla's home and she's happy and smiling. Sayla had a broken arm last night, and Reagan's girl was in there with, what was it? A bubble in her airway?
I know. I wish I could. I was like pneumo. You know how like you hear the word pneumothorax? It's not that, but it's close. So, however you want to like. So it's something sort of like that. But yeah, I mean, so just crazy. Like, she's complaining about her chest hurting, and I was just telling you. I mean, I don't go to the doctors unless you're bleeding or you've been sick for like a while, and I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, it's got to be an ear infection. That's kind of like because we can't at home remedy ear infections. And so it had literally been 3 hours. And she's like, my chest hurts. We go into the doctor, they give her breathing treatment. All of a sudden they're ordering an x-ray. And I'm like, this is weird. Are we paying for that extra? Do the x-ray, come back, another breathing treatment. They're like, oh, everything's clear. You can go home. Well, now it's like 9 o'clock at night. So to console ourselves, Elle and I went to Dairy Queen, come back home. It was like 9:30 and I'm changing in my pajamas because it's already way past my bedtime. And the next thing I know, like we get a call from the doctor and he's like, we want to observe her overnight. So it was so surreal. So overnight oxygen, and now seems totally normal. And I'll find out if it's gone tomorrow morning. We have another x-ray because we're supposed to be flying up to the lovely state of Montana. So Ella could be home alone. I'll tell her, record yourself. All right. I hear there's like some money to be made in those movies.
Enjoy your holiday, honey. We'll see you when we get back. Home Alone. Every kid wants that until they have it.
I
For
think
sure.
every mom wants that too, right? I feel like that was like my perfect holiday. You know what? All you guys go. I feel like I got some air in my lungs. I can't travel. Daddy will take it on his own.
Oh my gosh. I was just thinking about that this morning because of our history. Can you remember when we didn't have kids? Do you remember what that was like?
That was the nights that we just like could watch movies whenever we wanted, and we just sat around and ate cookie dough. I think we didn't have kids, and we had amazing metabolisms too, right? Remember that we just buy the raw cookie dough at the store. We come and hang out and console each other when we didn't have boyfriends. And be like, oh, it's okay. Those boys don't know how amazing we are. We'd just be eating the cookie dough.
Yeah.
I remember that. That's
Great.
how far back we go.
Yeah, now if I were to do that, they'd want some and then I wouldn't end up with any anyway, even if I tried. So, just some of those little things that happen when you have kids.
Absolutely.
We didn't want to be alone when we didn't have them, and then now we're like, I just want to be alone. Give me
Oh my gosh, I know. This is like the perplexed, I think, quandary that like us as women are constantly in. It's like on one hand, it's like so amazing, I love it. On the other, you're like, I just want to like not think about anybody but myself. But it's just not even possible. Even when you're by yourself, you're thinking about the things you should have done, could have done, need to do. Like just that's insane.
Yeah, on our way home from Denver, my husband was asking me to help him put his podcast in while he was driving. I had a little moment. I'm like, you know what? This whole week has been me doing stuff for everyone else. Can I just sit here? Yes, I'll help you with your podcast, but then just let me sit here. Yeah, it wasn't super nice, but it was one of those moments where I'm like, I don't want to turn around again in this car. Anybody want to? Now this is last chance. Oh my gosh. So we were alone for a while, you and I doing the single thing, but you met Mr. Right, and I love your story. Those of you who are on, I see Jen Johnson on. What's up, Jen? Anybody else that is on? Anybody like a romantic story? Give me some hearts if you are all about some fun romantic How She Met the Man story. I love those. Mine's not so romantic, you know. I was 14, so I mean, it's not like, oh, that's so
It's
sweet.
a little pervy, but I don't know. Okay, he wasn't a grown adult. Let's just preface that. 'Cause right now, it's like that's a dark story. Like I was 14.
That's right. Yeah, everybody loves a good love story. So, Reagan, how'd you meet Mr. Man?
So, as every woman knows, at any point, doesn't even matter what age you are, we all seem to have those freak out moments if you've been single for longer than like a couple months, especially if you hit the year mark. You're like, oh my gosh, God wants me to be single. I don't know. I don't have the nun mentality where I'm like, thank you, Jesus. I'm going to just give it all for you. So, I was living alone, working in Montana. And for some reason, when you're single, and at like 25, 26, that's super alone. Because at church, people would start praying over me because, I'm single. And all my friends I went to school with are all married with kids. So it's like, I'm just like this crazy oddity. I didn't live in California at that time. Because down here, they'd be like, you got plenty of time. So I went on, I'm a travel agent also. It's like my day job. And I booked a trip for this missions group. So the guy that I was dealing with was like an older gentleman, super old, in case Richard logs on, and just great, like kind of that like fun grandpa friendly type. And after like 6 months of working with him, because there was a lot of requests for seats and special stuff, he like one morning he was like, you know what? He's like, would you like to even come with us? And it turned out I only know one African at that time, yeah, and they were going to visit that family. So I'm like, oh my gosh, could I come? Like, obviously, I've got nothing going on. I mean, life has already gotten super dark because no man has come to my door in Montana, and I've already pretty much decided, like, God's forgotten me, and now I'm going to go to Africa so God can forget me in Africa. Like, that's really my goal. And get there, you're sleep deprived. It's the longest travel time, especially coming out of Montana. It's like 3 flights. You're exhausted. Next day, we're all sitting on the stage in front of like 1,500 people, and they're introducing the whole team. I don't know anybody else. I just know this older gentleman. And this guy stands up, and I'm still kind of like jet lagged, and he's like, oh, this is the college and career admissions pastor in Tennessee. And he just started talking, and all of a sudden, I'm telling you, I was like, what? I was wide awake. I was sparkling, and next thing you know, I knew which prayer team I was going to be in at every village. And so, needless to say, my husband at one point was like, wow, isn't that just amazing how God put us together everywhere? And I was like, no, honey, that's called a woman that knows what she wants. So, ladies, I'm not saying God doesn't have a hand in it, because he definitely did. But yeah, so we met on a missions trip, and then literally a year later, we were married.
Yeah.
Now we're 4 kids in, and like we're all we got. We just want to go back to Africa, minus our children. But
Well, but you were Montana girl. You grew up in Montana.
Yeah.
You and I met in Idaho, and now you and Ryan are city slickers. Why? Why LA?
Why not LA? I mean, who doesn't want to live somewhere where everywhere you drive, people stare at you and wonder like why your car is dirty just because you got like one little thing of bird poop on it? I mean, it's amazing. I love it. And I really stand out here with, my ivory skin and little freckled spots all around me. Montana, I'd probably just be like similar to everybody else. Like here, they're like, what happened? I mean, nobody's trying to take a picture with me yet, but fingers crossed, it happened. We did end up in LA because my husband and I, we actually planted a church out here. So out in Huntington Beach, California, which is just a beautiful area. And he always thought like he would live in Los Angeles. And now here we are. So we're just, I mean, I don't know. I mean, a lot of mornings when I look at, actually just once a month whenever I get our mortgage bill, I'm like, why LA?
Right.
We can live like kings anywhere else. Maybe not New York, but yeah.
Well, I mean, even crazier too is your family had already moved down to LA. Your parents did, who had been in Montana for years. They'd moved down before you and Ryan got married. So I love how all the little chips fell into place for you guys.
We're kind of cultish. We like pretty much all move together. So it's like the Ku Klux, I don't want to say that, but like what is that? The David Koresh, you know what I'm talking about? Remembers that? I can't be that old, but yeah. No, my parents moved down here, and so now we're pretty much all down here. Minus I have a brother that's now in lovely Texas. So
yeah, you guys are tight. I love it. So let's talk about Ryan and marriage for a little bit. You guys will love talking about marriage with Reagan because what did you say? You posted the other day and you're like, what won't I say on Monday? Challenge on.
I did tell Ryan, do not log into this one. Do not watch this.
Yeah, maybe we could send to your mom. Mama Kelly, are you on here? Maybe you should just like check out. No, just joking. So we've learned how you met. I love that. We always said this, like I needed a male Reagan for my life, and you needed a female Jamie for your life, right? So tell everybody a little bit about Ryan, like how he compliments you, and then we're going to dig into some nitty gritty.
Ooh, nitty gritty. So I am that spur of the moment, like, let's just, see where the wind takes us. Who needs a grocery list? Pretty much anything I see when I'm hungry looks good to me. And Ryan is that organized. He's going to come up with a plan. He has this, list and a list for his list. And we're totally, and when we go places, like he's just like that soft spoken, what's insane. So I'm a pastor's kid. Believe it or not, I am saved. A lot of people, it's not that I have to tell people that, but you know what? I've embraced it now. And when people meet my husband, they literally think it's the opposite because he's just so nice, so unassuming. And I am nice, but I guess, as my sister told me, I can be a little bit much, like not everybody's cup of tea, which seems insane to me, but Ryan would never wonder that. Like he probably wonders half the time people like him. I'm like, who doesn't like you? So yeah, we're just that opposite, but it's great. It's compliments.
I would agree. When I first heard about Ryan, I'm like, yes.
I know.
Ryan does have a darker olive complexion. So when it comes to like him being the whole female me, he's a little more, is he Italian or something? I mean, he's got that.
Well, and both you and Ryan absolutely love working out. And I mean, until your husband kind of like abandoned me and started going more healthy, I mean, Jamie's husband, Eric, and I could throw down fast food like nobody's business. We were like our own MapQuest for it. We like just knew where it was. Well, Ryan and Jamie kind of like stared at us like, what are you guys doing? That's not healthy for your bodies. Like, oh, just watch it. Yeah, but we're paying for that now. When you're young, again, everything seems good.
Yeah, he can still throw it down. I won't reveal all of his little secrets, but he does get in some good nutrition. He can thank me later for that, Oh my gosh. All right, so nitty gritty. So you all love the good love story. I saw some hearts for love stories. We're not going to reveal Ryan's deepest, darkest secrets or anything on here, but Reagan and I had a conversation, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago, and you're leading this like marriage Bible study group or something. And
okay. I do remember. I don't even know where we're going. I'm excited too. I'm like, what's that name?
I know, right? Like, oh, improv. Well, you brought up a statistic about affairs. Do you remember the statistic? Okay. So, I mean, we all know, I mean, the statistic is like every 1 out of 2 marriages, right, are like, and it doesn't matter whether you're Christian or not. It's just every other marriage is falling apart.
Yeah.
So that statistic breaks my heart, number one. But it makes me go, dang, I mean, if that's the case, then what can I do to stay away from that crap,
And that's the case we're doing right now. That's what we should be wondering. right now.
Yeah, he's on GPS. I'm tracking him everywhere.
All right, okay. I feel like I need to grab my phone and text him like, honey,
okay, so tell me the statistic, because it was about, I mean, a lot of times I think we hear about the guys having the affair. I mean, I hear about the girls, but maybe it's because we're the girls, so we hear the girls that are going through the struggle with their guys. But you told me a statistic about women and affairs, and it kind of blew my mind. And it kind of made me go, there's some things girls aren't talking about. So what was the statistic? I don't remember it exactly.
Wow. See, I'm shocked you're even asking me this, because this is the other difference between us. You remember the details. I remember what you do, like that. Yes, it was a big deal. But I mean, it is over 50%. And they talk a lot about with like women, because we're always kind of like equating affairs. And I mean, Ryan and I've been married, I believe it's almost 13 years, because it's an odd year. So I think we're at 13. But the thing is that there's talking about, your marriage constantly, has to take work. And he used a story about a guy, or it was a girl. She was driving to work and she was more excited to see the guys that she worked with than she was like her own husband that she knew she was going to see when she got back at home. And literally at that moment, she just realized, she's like, oh my gosh, this is not correct. And just turns her car around and heads back home. Like, I hope that I would do something like that. Her husband hasn't left yet. She goes in and starts talking to him. And like, the idea is that, and I think, and I've seen it, I have lots of friends, and honestly, I've always, this sounds crazy, but I'm just going to keep it real. Like, I always thought if there's one of us that ends up cheating, it's totally going to be me. I mean, my husband is just laser focused. He's such a good guy. Like, he's just like, focused on Jesus, which I am too, but I'm a little like, I don't know if it's just that multi thing in my mind. Like, yeah, I notice when somebody's walking around without their shirt on, I would notice. He literally prayed for a woman that started breastfeeding, and he was knelt down, so his head's literally at her boob, and he didn't even notice. And I'm noticing. I'm like, what? Just like, is it the baby or him breastfeeding? No. So it's just like, I guess we do a lot of stuff with marriage. We do a lot of counseling. We do a lot of trainings. And I mean, really it comes down to is you always say it's going to be somebody else, but it's kind of like the grass is always greener in somebody else's yard, but it's just because you can't see the poop on the grass. Like, I love that. And I'm like, you know what? The closer you get to somebody else's marriage, their life, we all have crap. And I know at least 3 women that are divorced, remarried, and had this conversation with me that they said, not if I had known what I know now, I don't know if I would have divorced my first husband. Not that their second husband was horrible, they were unhappy and they're not going to divorce again, but they realized like what I thought was going to be so much better, now it's just a different problem. And I think that's kind of what we're finding is, there's just always issues and always things, but you have to be proactive. So Ryan and I were pretty proactive from date nights to, I like to lay down a couple threats with him every once in a while. I don't know if we're familiar with Lorena Bobbitt, but I bring up that story every once in a while when I'm worried about him. It's like, hey, I go super crazy, right? You're about somebody that like, and we're talking Facebook, I feel like is just even another level. Like, I know a lot of friends that have like reconnected with ex-boyfriends and they're just friends. They're not doing it. It's just Facebook. But you know what? It just opens a door. And this can be girls and guys. Because now we're so like, and then instead of like just, we're just talking to you, all of a sudden you look back and you're like, wait a minute. Like now I'm having these better Facebook message conversations, chatting, laughing than I am with my own husband. And it just happens like in the blink of an eye. So get it on tonight, ladies. Get it on. Right? I mean, that's
right.
One area. All right.
Yeah. So you guys said that you do regular date nights. I'm just thinking about what do we do? So Eric and I have been married. It'll be 17 years in November. We got married when I was 15. Remember?
Okay, so that's the Kirby love story.
Yeah, right. He's the older man, and the 17 years in, and there's definitely been seasons, especially when your kids are little, that you feel like, I mean, Jen and I have laughed about these conversations where, I mean, I'm like, I have a personal bubble. You and Eric, I mean, God strategically placed some huggers in my life to like break that down. But I got this bubble and here I am like nursing a baby and a toddler's crawling on me. And then my husband comes behind the couch and wants to kiss my cheek and I blow like, okay, everybody out of my space. And that doesn't feel so good. I'm imagining for the husband to feel like the body is shut down, like do not enter. And there's definitely some seasons, right, where you feel a little maxed out as a woman. And I definitely felt that when my kids were little. You had them like bing, 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 bing. So it was like you had a massive amount of time in there. But I was thinking about back in the last 17 years, some of the hardest times maybe where Eric and I just didn't seem on the same page or there was a disconnect and maybe where we were vulnerable at those times. And so I love that you said, weekly date nights. I remember one guy, he was a professor of mine in college actually, and I was serving tables when I was in college, and he was out on a date with his wife, and he said, we do regular date nights, but we do monthly, like daily getaways. They take a 24-hour. They do quarterly weekend getaways. So like every 3 months, there's like a full on weekend, 48 hours, and then a yearly week vacation. I'm like, well, that sounds dreamy. But now on this end of it, I think Eric and you and Ryan probably could say the same. It is necessary. I mean,
Yeah.
especially if you've got 4 children. That's a lot of jibber jabber going on, and that's a lot of event. I mean, all of us this week. I mean, I opened up and started talking about how eventful it's been with our hospital visits
Yeah.
and dogs and blah blah blah. I mean, making the time is absolutely necessary, right? So you've got the date night thing, but what else? What else do you intentionally do as a woman to fuel your husband, to build up your husband, to affair proof your marriage, to protect yourself from looking somewhere else? I mean, obviously you said the Facebook thing. I love that. That's huge.
I mean,
What else?
we could text naked pictures, but right now I'm not in the position that I want to be texting this body via the internet. And I feel like that can go live. So, but it's a thought. I mean, I think, I do send him, like, I do intentionally, like, throughout the days, and the same with me, just like drop little notes and try to tell him how amazing he is. Do I do it every day? No, because I'm exhausted cheering on my kids. And if any woman out there isn't, then, come on, we all are. But like you said, we do try to do overnight. And I mean, I keep coming back a little bit to the physical. We have this whole women are crock pots, men are microwaves, like they're just ready to go. Like, and women is like to build up. But at the same time, like men, they are the physical, like eyesight people, like that for the majority. I'm not going to say every man, but that's the majority. So Ryan did make a comment to me, like, I think we were 2 kids in and just like, well, I feel like we're more roommates than we are, And I mean, just when he said that to me, wasn't like we're in a fight, just made the comment. I'm like, okay, then it is on. Like, we're not roommates. We're roommates with privileges. Like, what's going on? So, I mean, that's definitely, but like, just trying to do things that he appreciates, like weird things, like he appreciates when I remove the clothes from his side of the bed, that he's like sat there. So when he comes into bed, like it's just ready for him. Or like if I did make, some his little lunch or snack for work or that. I mean, there's, with them, like what they like. For me, just do the laundry and then it can be on tonight. Like clean the dishes. We are raring to go. But he's more like, he wants me to just tell him how amazing he is. And I want, and I'm more aware because he is around a lot of women at his work. He also teaches at church, and everybody tells him how amazing he is. And I don't want somebody telling him he's more amazing than I'm telling him, even though the hard part for wives is we see the amazingness of our husband. We always see the reality of them. We see them driving in a car, wanting us to put earbuds in their ears when we have just been with our sick child for this many times, and we're just burnt out. We want somebody to put earbuds in our ears. I want somebody to get me a glass of water. But I think it's just kind of like finding that balance for them. So, I mean, and again, I think you touched on something. Oh, dang it. My husband's actually calling me right now. I told him not to watch this. I would definitely, like, I can't even stress enough. I know people say they don't have like babysitters, they don't have family to watch their kids overnight. Work it out, like talk to a girlfriend and say, you know what? I don't care if it's like a massive sleepover with 8 kids, because I've got 4, you've got 4. That's a lot of kids. But you know what? I can handle that for 24 hours, and 24 hours for you and your husband to get away. And then you give it to that other friend, even if we're talking, every other month. It transformed our marriage, because we were literally at a point. I mean, I even told him, I was like, it was probably the 7-year mark. We had our 3rd baby, colicky, and I was like, we are going to counseling. We're getting out of this. And da da da. And he was like, we're going to start doing date nights. And it was a struggle for me, because I was like, I'm so exhausted. I don't want to be with anybody. I want to be by myself. That's a perfect date night to me, not being with this guy. But he was so consistent about getting it going that, I mean, here we are. And yeah, I mean, is he loading the dishwasher like he should? Absolutely not. Come on. That guy, he's a work in progress, as am I. So, but it's still way better. And that's the best thing we did. So overnights, date nights, and then just getting it on, little text messages, emojis, keep it clean. Kids get on your phone like mine. They know how to unlock it. I'll be like, what's this picture? Duh, look at that.
That's funny. That's so good. I think I can say in my early years of marriage, I think I was oblivious and quite honestly naive to the idea of affairs or the idea of not wanting to be with my husband, right? I mean, I've always heard the phrase of the enemy will try and get you to be together prior to marriage because he knows some of the consequences of that. And I'm talking about, when I say together, of just being intimate physically and emotionally before marriage, right? Giving your heart, your soul, your body to someone before you're married, where it's unprotected. He'll do anything that he can to do that. And then after you're married, he'll do anything he can for that not to happen. And, you hear that at the beginning, and I wasn't quite sure that I understood it or agreed, but I would say it's 100% true. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I think there's nothing like, even if you're sitting here like 15, 17, 20 years into marriage and you're like, oh crap, we screwed it up because of this or that. It's like, thank God that God's got so much grace to cover that. And thank God that we can just literally sit there and be like, okay, you know what? I didn't know that, but God, you're so much bigger than I am. You can cover this and you can make all things new. And there's got to be something to be said when you look at people that have been married for so many years and all of a sudden they're like so in love. They're holding hands walking down the street. They're looking amazing. So I just think we can be that. And I mean, the She's Velvet Steel, like the thing that I absolutely like, I mean, you and I have talked, we've known each other for a while, talked about doing different things. But when you mentioned this, I was like, you know what? I need this. I watched this video. I totally want to Facebook post it, but they dropped the F-bomb, the S-bomb, and I'm like, isn't that weird? I mean, I have to teach this at a Bible college and church leadership. It could be like a little misconstrued, but we're grace people. And he just talked about like the 5 people that are your friends, like the people you're surrounding yourself with, and that's how you're going to be thinking. And I feel like that is with marriage. Like, we all have friends that are struggling in different levels, but you know what? Find those ones, even if you're like, I don't know, I don't like them because their marriage always looks so perfect. You know what? We need to do the She's Velvet Steel girls. What we're doing as a group is saying we're totally different than any other girls. We're surrounding ourselves with people that are doing something we think is amazing. And we're not just being like, how do I get that? How do I do that? We're cheering them on and like letting them teach us. We're being teachable. We're being excited. And we're letting their marriages infect our marriage, because I want to be surrounded with people that, one, don't believe in divorce, because everybody does today. So I need to be with people that are like, when I come complain to them, like, you know what? You're right. It totally sucks. He doesn't load the dishwasher. Got an amazing guy. He loves your kids, and God's got this for you. And let's pray right now. Like, that's what I need. I don't need to be sitting there and be like, oh my gosh, did you know he didn't load the dishwasher again and just walked out, like just thinking about himself. It's like, no, all of a sudden then women are like, yeah, you should have heard what my husband did. Did you know he's been gone and he went to the baseball game? He was just watching TV and da da da. It's like, wow, it's just easy to get sucked in. And I mean, obviously I'm such a big talker that you can see I get sucked in easily with the crowd. So, I'm just excited that God's got something different. And I feel like I'm surrounding myself with ladies that none of us are perfect, but we're all wanting something more. And I feel like that's with this, Facebook page, and we've been doing these little like interviews. That's really what it is. And just encouraging you to like send this out to friends, to family about our page. It's not because all of a sudden we're marketing, this or that. No, what we're marketing is like a different way of thinking. What we're marketing is a community of women that is going to say like, hey, I'm here for your marriage. I'm here to talk about depression. I'm here because I have a plan and a dream with a business and I need some help. I'm here because I just feel like I'm meant to do something more, and I need somebody to help me clarify what is that more, or pull out this in me. And so, I mean, when you came to me with this idea, I was like, one, it took me about an hour to understand the name on the phone. I was like, I don't know what it is. I could, a bad hearing. But it's just, I felt like, no, this is what I've been waiting for. And I'm just super excited. So,
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Regan pretty much wrapped up the heart of She's Velvet Steel here. And whether we're talking about depression, talking about marriage, talking about affairs, talking about struggles, or talking about successes, it's us coming together and being real and sharing in each other's lives and building each other up better together. All right. So thank you so much for being willing to share about you and Ryan. Obviously, we didn't uncover anything. He doesn't have to be worried. No worries, Ryan. There wasn't anything uncovered here. But
not the one with the third nipple. I'll just say that.
No, okay. All right. Well, we have reached our time limit, so we're going to say goodbye for this morning, but we'll be back next Monday. And you guys, please, if there's other girls in your life that you know are your five, right? Like that was Reagan was talking about, the ones that that you do life together. And when you're down, you're on the phone. Or maybe if you're me, if I'm down, my friends are calling me because they know that I won't call them, right? So whoever those are, bring them into She's Velvet Steel, tag them. We're going to be doing more and more things and providing more resources, bringing other expert people in to build you up and build your friendships up and your community up so that you can be who God meant for you to be. So have a great rest of your Monday. Thanks, Reagan, for jumping on. Hopefully this will be a little less eventful for She's Velvet Steel girls.
Absolutely. All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.